Hi everybody, sanibonani. Welcome to my channel igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel sesifunde incwadi ebhalwe ngolimi lwethu lwesiZulu bese sizala sokhuluma ngazo. Le ncwadi sesifundile senzela laba phela bangenaso isikhathi sokuyifunda incwadi nalabo abasuke benqana nje ukufunda. Siyaphinda futhi sibuka ama reality shows ethu ala eMzansi bese sizala sokhuluma ngawo lama shows, senza ama reviews noma recaps bese siyaphinda futhi sikhuluma nga any other issues avukayo uma ngabe lama shows sesiwabukile kwi-TV. Uma ngabe uqala ujoina namhlanje and you really like our content, do not forget to press the subscribe button la ngezansi, also press the notification bell ukuze phela uthole umyalezo uma ngabe umsebenzi omusha sesiwufakile. There's also a join button for those who want to be members of the channel, and also there's a thanks button for those who want to thank the channel ngemali. Other than that, guys, just watch an advert on or two mawusuke ubuka ama videos that is appreciated. I want to talk a little bit namhlanje about Sbahle Mpisane again, you guys. But my video today is going to be different from the video that I did about her when she did that was it a live or what on thing on Twitter talking about uSkwiza wakhe. And she did a live on Instagram where she was talking about something that had really hurt her feelings, and somebody had sent her a message suggesting that maybe she should consider, possibilities of having her leg amputated, because that might be something that might give her a little bit more freedom, and her feelings were hurt, you guys, and she was triggered, she was crying on a live and all of that, you guys. And I felt like, honestly, I know how Sbahle feels, I felt like at that when I was watching it, I felt like, oh my god, like I think I know how she feels like. And this is the reason I'm gonna tell you my story, and maybe you'll be able to connect, and maybe even for you understand better what she's going through, guys. There are times sometimes when you are given information that might be valuable to you with a good intention, but it just comes at the wrong time. It comes at the time when you are not ready to deal with that information. And sometimes that's why when you're going through stuff, it's better to stay off social media, because people always want to tell you what to do, on social media. When I this is like years ago, my child must have been like 2 years old when she initially was diagnosed with her condition, and she was sick. We were in the hospital for a long time, and this is where like we were initially told about what her life was going to be like going forward. Like she was not going to be able to walk, she was not going to be able to sit, to stand, to speak. It was a lot for us to take at the time, thinking about how different her life was going to be from what we had dreamt for her, and even for us, how different our lives were going to be. At that time, guys, it was hard to deal with, and we were dealing with it, but it was hard. It was very hard. I remember that same week that we had actually sat with the doctors, and they had told us, all of this information that honestly we needed to know at that point, because we needed to understand what her condition was going to be. Leaving the hospital, we were still dealing with it. In that same week, you guys, the doctors kept saying, you know what, you really need to go see the social worker, because you guys need to see a social worker before you leave the hospital. And at that time, I just wanted to be close to my baby, and I didn't want to be anywhere but where she was. But at some point, the doctor just wrote a letter and said they had already booked an appointment. We were at King Albert Lutuli Hospital. They had already booked an appointment for me to go see the social worker. So I had to make time that day to go see the social worker. I didn't know. I didn't even ask why I needed to see the social worker. But at that time, I just felt like, okay, maybe they think I need some kind of counseling or whatever. So I went to see the social worker. So when I get there, you guys, she comes and she takes the information, her personal information, information about our home, our family, do we have support and all of that and whatever. It wasn't a counseling session as I had thought. It was more her just getting information about our lives, and I thought maybe she's getting the background information, and then when she's done, then I will get to understand why I'm here at the time, because I just wanted to get back to my baby. And then when she was done, she took out this form and she gave it to me, and she said to me, take this form with you and then make sure that your doctor, your child's doctor, signs it before you leave the hospital. The day that you leave the hospital, you must make sure that they sign it. I've already signed it myself. Make sure that they fill it in and sign it, and then you take this form to SASSA. So I looked at the form and I realized that it was a disability grant form, because I was supposed to take it to SASSA. When I tell you guys that I lost it, like I lost it on everything, on everybody, on that social worker, on the doctors, on everything, because at that point I was feeling like I am dealing with this with my child. Like, what makes you think that I want advice about getting some SASSA grant for my child right now? Like, you, out of everything that you could have given to me at this point, you are giving me this form to apply for grant. I was mad, you guys. I was screaming in that hospital, mad that they did that at that particular time. Honestly, you guys, if you came to me today with any kind of form and said, Dando, there is a disability grant, kupi, go and whatever and apply for, you can apply for it, I would be like, where is it right now? Like me right now, where I am with my situation with my child, I'll be like, where is it? How much are we getting? 20 rand. Let me go, let me get it. Because now I understand that the medical bills, ever since then, the bills are over. Like, we have medical aids, it runs out. We use the public sector, so I know every cent counts. So if they came now and say, here's the form, apply for whatever SASSA grant, I wouldn't do it. I was like, bring that form and I will go. But at that time, it was just, I was so triggered, because it was just a wrong time for me to get that information. I don't even remember if it was my cousin or one of my sisters that said, Ndando, just remember that these people are not so emotionally attached to your situation, and they see these cases all the time. The social worker probably knows that you are going to need this money at some point, and you might not understand it now, but her advice was just take that form, throw it somewhere in your wardrobe or something so you don't see it, so it doesn't trigger you. One day you might decide that you need it. But I don't think that it was anything personal. It was just that for them, that is their process. They know that when you leave the hospital with a child in this condition, this is what you're gonna need to do, and they're trying to make it as easy as possible for you to get it. Was it right for them to give me that information at that time? Maybe it's not the best strategy for the hospital to do it at that time, but at the same time, they're trying to make sure that everything happens while you are still in the hospital, because it is, they say it is very hard to get that form once you leave the hospital. So when I saw Sbahle, I felt like it's something similar to that. Sometimes you might get information that is meant to help you maybe, but it just comes at the wrong time. It just comes at the wrong time. I feel like right now she's dealing with a lot, and with everybody talking about her and talking about her being disabled and all of that, and it just got too much. It came at the wrong time, and it's almost like her interpretation of that message is so different from what the message actually says, because the lady says, I'm an amputee, do you not want to consider this? And also, guys, another thing is that when you have a medical condition that, people know, like I have a child that has a certain medical conditions, the messages that I get from people, even parents from overseas, I'm on Facebook, sometimes we take photos with her and we post, and then people will be on my inbox saying, have you tried using whatever on her, on her muscles or whatever, this all and this all. There's a lot of information that I don't use. There's a lot of information that might possibly even offend me being given to me. There's angomas that I suggested, the bafundisi that I suggested, but how I feel about those things now compared to when the situation was new and I was still like bleeding from that wound, it's different. Now I'm like, people with the, they'll be directing you to Nigerian pastors and whatever, your child is going to be healed, go to this minister or whatever. But now that I'm like this, I'm like, and then when somebody suggests something, and then they're like, have you ever gone and seen this doctor? They're really good with this kind of procedure. It can help you with this and this and that. If it's really like legit information, even if I got it from someone on Facebook, because a lot of the parents connect that way, even if I get it, from social media, I would consider if it's something that can help me. I really think Sbahle got the information really at the wrong time. Of course, thinking about it, I don't think that lady should have made that suggestion, but I also don't think that she had bad intentions in making that suggestion, but I do think that it was just at the wrong time. She's going through a lot, and the issue of her accident is still new to her. We might think it happened a while ago, she must be over it right now. It's not, it's still new to her because she's still dealing with the injuries. I feel like she was just triggered. If honestly I was Sbahle's friend, I would just say, my friend, just take a break from social media. Just take a break from social media, because she's there and part of me understands, because part of me felt like that. I was like, I know she's in pain, so everything that relates to her injuries, to whatever, for her it's overly sensitive. I understand that, but at the same time now she looks like umuntu ozotetema online, because people are not going to understand what she's just triggered, because people keep talking about this one thing that have hurt her, that she hasn't healed from it. I really personally think that she would benefit from just taking a break. Abantu bayathanda ukwenza ama live, and because mawenza live, you get all of these comments that are I know that you did not ask for. People are trying to advise you. I don't even know why people like doing lives, but yeah, they do. I really think that she would benefit from just taking a break from his social media. And again, I really think, for me, I liked Sbahle better when she was not talking as much as she is now when it comes to social media. I liked her just keeping to herself and posting her fitness videos, and it just ended there. With her saying a lot, it seems like that's not who she is. And as well as she is saying a lot, people are saying a lot to her back, and then she has a problem with it, and then it gets too much, and then she is overwhelmed. Anyway, you guys, I wish her all the healing in the world. I do honestly hope that, I even wish that I had that lady's contacts that sent that message, because I wanted to say to her, I understand your intention. People might not, but I understand it, because I know, even as a mom of a child with a disability, sometimes when I see another mom, even like with sometimes like a wheelchair, and I maybe there's a cushion that I use on my wheelchair that I know helps my baby, and I just want to tell them, have you ever tried this, this cushion, or have you ever looked into this? Sometimes as a mom, I want to do that when I see another mom. So I think it was just for her to say, because she has learned that the injury is permanent, maybe if she suggested, but it was just the wrong time. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like it before niphume, share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ngimthanda kakhulu.